2, and 1. What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Avery here, and a bit of a different video today. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal recording studio, which is just my room, but out of nowhere, Konami decided to drop us a ban list. So if you guys could please smash the ever-living boo-boo stain off that like and subscribe button as we climb even higher. The almost 1,800 ladder. We're very, very close. And I really do appreciate all the love and support. Obviously, no sort of fancy editing or anything because I'm doing this off my phone on a tripod and I'm going to have to figure out something for a thumbnail. So I want to go through these changes, what it means for me as someone who's been taking a break from competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Spoiler alert, I really don't think it's going to change all that much. But I want to talk about these changes because I think that it at least kind of moves the needle maybe a little bit, emphasis on a little bit, in regards to making the format overall better, right? So I actually want to start off with the 3 ofs and then move to the 2 ofs, which, spoiler alert, is just one card. It's branded fusion. And then we'll go to the 1s and the bans. So moving to 3. We have Glow Up Bulb. Konami had kind of teased this with showing it on their Twitter. That's no surprise. That's just to push the 5D Synchron structure deck that's obviously most likely going to be garbage. We got Masterpiece, True Draco Slaying King moving to 3, Morphing Jar moving from 2 to 3. That's kind of expected, it was at 2. It doesn't help any craft in any way, so keep that in mind. Phantom Sky Blaster is going from 1 to 3, Ash and Poplar going to 3, Dragonic Diagram to 3, Lightning Storm to 3, and Barrage to 3. Barrage could have moved to 3 a year ago. It wouldn't matter. Ash and Poplar being back means that the deck is at full power, because we also got Link Karibo back at 1. The deck is now at full power minus OSS. Does that mean anything? Honestly, probably not. Because if anything, it makes Konami, or it's Konami saying, hey, listen, community, you were right. Because keep in mind that when Snake Eye was tier 0, a lot of people were saying just ban OSS and the deck is fine. Some people were saying ban Oak, some were saying ban Ash, some were even saying ban Flamberge. But then they banned OSS along with hitting some other things. I think if you just banned OSS, like what we were all saying before, the deck would have been fine. Because now it's like you can more consistently go Ash, Poplar. What does Poplar search you? The fucking temple? Like it doesn't matter. Like I don't really think that the deck is going to be able to do as much now that it doesn't have OSS access. So that's it for the 3s. Lightning Storm coming back to 3 is kind of whatever. It could have been at 3 for the longest time. YGO tried to say that Diagram and Lightning Storm matters. Those don't matter. He tried to say Barrage matters. Barrage doesn't matter. That's kind of whatever. At least I'm pretty sure he said that Barrage matters. Then moving from 1 to 2, we got Branded Fusion. They're trying to make Draco Tail branded a bit better. You're still going to Ash the Branded Fusion. Like, it doesn't really matter. So, sure, it's kind of scary because Branded Fusion leads to a lot of pluses, but it's kind of whatever. Now, moving into 1. We got X Rizal, which is great, Dormouse, Vanquish Soul Ryzen, Fiendsmith Lacrima, which I thought was, I forgot that Lacrima, the Crimson Sorrow, that's not Fiendsmith Lacrima. Fiendsmith Lacrima is the fusion. That's one of the bigger ones. Link Karibo is from ban to 1. Summon Sorceress, remember, it got the errata, that's at 1, that's fine. It's still pretty good, but it's not super broken. Herald of the Arclight to 1. I talked about this in my, I think it was my Anycraft video, one of my videos, where I talked about how Yummy can play on your turn. And I was like, they make a second Arclight on your turn if you just let them play. Like, I said Arclight need to be banned, and I barely had any experience against Yummy, but I could just tell that interaction was insane. Arclight finally going to 1 is amazing. And keep in mind, too, it's basically a Macrocosmo. It's a Macrocosmo and an Omni Negate. And what's nice, too, that hitting Arclight to 1 also indirectly hurts like other ritual-based decks. So whether it's Voiceless Voice, Mitsurugi, to a much lesser extent Mitsurugi, because they really weren't playing Arclight from what I understand. But it helps limit that abusive card design-esque play where you could just dump Arclight and get pluses, right? Dryden to 1. YGO said that Detonator is a better Dryden, and I really don't agree with that. Dryden coming back to 1, honestly, is kind of scary, because now we have 3 Barrage and 1 Dryden. I believe Rapier is still at 1. Maybe we'll see some people try to do Rizal, Zodiac stuff, but, like, you have 1 X, and X is, like, the best non-engine / engine card in the game. Being able to dump an aggregator and be able to chain block your search with, like, the aggregator and then negate a card and get a search, like, X Rizal on its own, when Fiendsmith Rizal was the best deck, could basically single-handedly out a Fiendsmith Rizal board, because you just dump the aggregator and then chain block with the X and the aggregator, negate the Wave High King on the opponent's board, get your search, and then the opponent's crapping all over the board because you probably don't care about their detonator at that point. Let's see. So Dryden to 1, Crystron Inclusion to 1. That's fine. I really don't know anything about Crystron. That's fine. Obedient School to 1, Stake Your Soul to 1, and Solemn Judgment to 1. Solemn Judgment to 1 really pissed my dad off as we were reading off this ban list in our car ride here to see some family. The first thing he said was, they just want all the meta decks to be good. This hurts stuns so bad. It's so ridiculous. The reason why that they hit this card is because of the fact that 99% of the time when you're building your side deck, for whatever your deck you're building, could be a meta deck, could be a rogue deck. Meta decks have played Judgment for years when they've had the space for it. Because like if you know you're going first and you have, say, 3 slots in your side for something going first, just play Solemn Judgment. It's an Omni Negate. Because then on top of building the board that you built, if you have multiple Solemn Judgments set, for each of those judgments, your opponent's playing 1 less card. So your opponent goes, I don't know, Pot of Extravagance. You go Ash. They go Talents. Take Control. Eat my ass with a judgment. Like, you negate their 1 of, and they're just playing with 1 less card. Like, it was such a hard punish. I think Solemn Judgment's literally been everywhere on the ban list. It's been banned at 1, at 3, and I'm pretty sure it was at 2 before. So it's like the New Age Ultimate Offering, where Ultimate Offering was constantly being moved around on the ban list. Solemn Judgment's back at 1. Stake Your Soul and Rising going to 1, I think is great. Obedient Schooled. So here's what's interesting about Obedient Schooled. Obedient Schooled, when it first came out back in the day, everybody said this card's broken, but there's no way to abuse it. Which was crazy, because a card being released years ago like Obedient Schooled, everybody recognizing it was broken, but there was nothing to abuse it with Beast, should show you how broken the card was for especially something like back in the day before the game was this much faster as it is now. I think the card needs to be banned, honestly. It's going to be a one of that. If you have the Ash, you're going to Ash the shit out of it, and if you can't negate it, you're probably crapping all over the venue floor, unless you know you're going to get a double match loss and then not lose to the Obedient Schooled. Speaking of that, Fiendsmith's Lacrima. So keep in mind that this is the fusion that got banned like 2 weeks after Infinite Forbidden came out, and it released in Infinite Forbidden. It's like the fastest card to ever be released and then banned, from what I remember Capital G saying, who no longer uses tubes because he went on to be a cop. So you can't Ash Blossom the handcuffs, I guess. But they brought back the fusion because, honestly, it's changed with the time rules, right? And I had a feeling that they were going to bring back something or hit something on this ban list, based upon the new time rules. Taking 1,200 points of damage off Lacrima's effect is not a big deal, and especially too when you see the bans. The Fiendsmith engine, I wouldn't say is dead, but it's nowhere near as splashable, and Lacrima back at 1 really doesn't matter. You can no longer just win game 1 and then like burn with 1,200 and then win in time, because all burn cards really don't matter anymore. Like, okay, you're doing 1,200. Who gives a shit? You're going to get a double game loss anyway after 50 minutes. So it is what it is. I think overall the limits are really solid. The hits to Malice are great because, as I said, we're about to go into the bans. Moon of the Closed Heaven, Splash Mage, King of the Feral Imps, and number 67, Paradise Smasher Balls. These bans are great. Splash Mage being banned really hurts any cyber pile dog shit deck. I wish that they would have circular bans still, but that's fine, because now you don't have a way to climb into other things with Splash Mage. I think Malice is honestly just really dead. Moon of the Closed Heaven being banned means that Fiendsmith is no longer super splashable. You're going to have to play in other Fiend piled decks. Paradise Smasher, it was broken in K9. Enough said. King of the Feral Imps, it's a hit to Mitsurugi, but outside of this, there's no hits to Mitsurugi. There's also no hits to Draco Tail of any kind. This is where I kind of lose it here on this list, because as good of changes as there are on this list, the biggest issue I have is that I feel like it honestly didn't do enough, because Yummy is the best deck in the fucking room now, and you also have these new dog shit time rules where a card like Fiendsmith Lacrima doing 1,200 burn damage doesn't matter anymore. And I'm not saying that that needs to matter, because in the old time rules it was very toxic. But the issue I have is that with these new time rules, a lot of these things that they're doing on the ban list, I feel like really doesn't matter anymore, because the changes with those rules are so dog water. I mean, the double game loss thing, look, the more that I've thought about it and the more that I've seen people talk about it, my biggest issue, and not to make this whole video about the time rules, but my biggest issue is that double game loss. Like, I think Farfa's idea was great, was have the game go until the next turn, the next player's turn's battle phase. I think that would be great. In terms of the ban list overall, I think that it does great things. The problem is that Yummy is the best deck by a fucking mile and a half. Mitsurugi, I think, is still broken. Rizal, with their only hit being X'd, I think that the deck can still be played, whether it's as a mini engine or whatever the case may be. I think it's still pretty playable. I think people are going to do stuff with like maybe Zodiac or something like that, because Zodiac, from what I recall, doesn't lock you into anything. But only time will tell. I think that Malice is very dead. I think K9 Vanquish Soul can kind of still play. I think the K9 engine is still very good from what I've seen of it. I just don't see myself getting back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! With these changes. My whole thing is I don't want to spend a couple hundred, if not more, dollars on a deck, and if I'm lucky, break even with the vendors and make my money back, just to get scrubbed out of an event because of 2 like double match losses or whatever, because I don't know, my opponent's an asshole and they want to go full Yummy combo and it doesn't matter because they want to burn time on the clock. Like, it just leaves such a bad taste in my mouth where it's hard to get excited about a ban list. So, I don't know. I'm going to think on this more. I really want to give it a chance. I really do. I even saw a comment to kind of wrap the video up here, but I saw a comment on a post that I made the other day talking about the new for hire support. And someone had said, you know, Avery, I feel like you're really grabbing at straws because, you know, everyone knows that that's what for hire is and whatever. And my whole argument in my community post was that why release these cards that have weird wording with PSCT in regards to that when you just change the time rules? Like, it's like you're totally tone deaf. Like, you're not aware, you're not reading the room. But I can see how that's kind of really grabbing at straws. I can see what the person was saying. And I'll admit, I was, to be totally transparent, I'll admit I was kind of aggravated at the time, and I deleted their comment because I thought that they were just being a hater, and I shouldn't have deleted the comment. That's totally on me. But I see where the person's coming from now that I've had more time to think about it. And I'm hoping that that's what happens with these time rules, especially now that we have a fresh ban list, and the format can be just reinvigorated. But I really don't know. And I really got to think about it. I mean, I've been playing the game competitively almost 20 years. It's hard to give something up that you've been playing for that long. Only time will tell. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know if you like any of these changes. Let me know if you're going to be getting back into competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Yourself, or if you're going to be sticking with retro, or if you just want to hear me dog on the game, because I'm happy to crap on the game too when Konami does something stupid. Guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.